Hello, and welcome back to, this should be episode 12 of this lore play of Silent Hill 2. Thank you for watching, as always. So this episode, I hope you're getting comfy, I hope you have a nice drink or a nice meal to enjoy, or are keeping busy with something while you listen to this. I mean, I guess you could use these as a podcast if you really wanted to. But I hope you're getting comfy, because this is going to be the longest episode yet. Definitely. Because we're going to finish the game in this episode. And I'm going to review everything that I've talked about. Or not review, but I'm going to go back to things that I've mentioned, which I couldn't talk about due to spoilers. Once we do get the spoilers. And it's going to be great. This is going to be great. So, without further ado, now we've just had that cutscene with Laura, and because we did that, we spawned enemies in the hotel, which are abstract daddies. Now, it might be hard to tell, but if you'll remember the boss fight, these are actually much smaller than the boss abstract daddy, and they take much less damage, of course. And these are representative of Angela's brother, because they're smaller. I mean, they're still terrible, but they're smaller. Normally I just run by these, but I wanted to show you. A lot of people don't know, like, the symbolism is pretty obvious that, you know, they're her dad, but a lot of people don't know that these were actually intended to be different, and that they're a different size, and that they represent her brother. And the reason that they're here is not just because, you know, we've already seen them, so the game's reusing. It's because Angela's actually in the hotel somewhere. So some of her monsters are showing up. So to her, these would probably look like her brother. So, we're in a room here. Ooh, I should heal up. This is a room called the reading room. I've yet to show you the map of the hotel, so I'll do that now. This is the hotel. We will check every room, but it won't take that long because a lot of them are broken. Or locked, I mean. Well, broken, I guess is a better term. There's a book open on the desk. It looks like a medical book. I've already read enough medical books. None of them ever did any good. So, there's a health drink there. What's this? Shotgun shells. So, we will come back to this room later, but as of right now, nothing too exciting going on. We're gonna enter this room, which is the cloak room. So, we're going to pick up this medkit. There's a calendar over here. Old one. Looks like there's a picture of Big Boss on it. Huh. Shotgun shells. This is handgun ammo. But there's a briefcase here. I can't hear anything from the receiver. Could the phone line possibly be cut? So yeah, the phone's not working. And what's this? The bag is locked. Well, we do have a key that we don't know what goes to. It's a fish key. So let's try that one. Wow. I guessed correctly. Key to the room, hotel room 204. I didn't actually guess. I've played this game 100 times. Ha 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 ha. Here's a picture of a handsome old-timey dude. Says something on it, but no clue what. So we're gonna go over here. Locked bathroom, locked bathroom. Let's try this stairway really quickly. This is the stairway that leads, if you look at the map, directly to room 312. But it's gated off. It's locked. We'll have to come back later. You can hear Mary shouting for us. Shouting, James. So we just got a key to room 204, and that's right here. So we're gonna go down this hallway first, sticking with the grid pattern. And I'm actually going to break my own word. Uh-oh. Die. I'm carrying him along with me as I run. I should probably kill him. Please don't kill me, Abstract Daddy. Okay. I'm not gonna break my word, actually. We'll search all these doors. But I'll spoil it and say all of these are broken. And this one's locked. But this one is 204, so we can unlock that. Now I'm gonna heal up really quickly and then reload my shotgun. Oops. We don't want to unequip it, because there's plenty of daddies here. Excuse me. I'm gonna take off my jacket. So this is room 204, and James is looking at something. What is it? Well, it's another key. If I can pick it up. Employee elevator key. And a big hole. Walk through the hole. There's photos scattered all over the bed. What's this? So, someone crossed this out. Part of the photo has been colored over with a marker. What's the photo of? Well, it looks to be of this briefcase. But someone crossed it out. Why? Well, let's use that thinner to get rid of this marker, so we can see that the briefcase's code actually says open. So this is another puzzle where it's randomly generated as to what it is. This time it says open, but there's a whole host of things that it can say. Perfect. Perfect. And we found the Cinderella music box. Now, I don't know if you can see this, because I'm playing very high res, but the video compression on YouTube might change it. But if you look closely, all these pictures are of the game's characters. There's a photo of Mary up there. There's a few photos of Laura. There's a photo of Maria. Another photo of Maria, or Mary, and one of James, what looks to be a lying figure. So you're not supposed to see that, but when you play in high res like I am, unlocked, perfect. So we got a Cinderella music box, which we will use. But first, actually let's bring it down here and put it in the music box player. So this is the Seat of the Princess Who Fled at Midnight. So we're going to use that Cinderella, because I think that's the right one. Still doesn't sound quite right, because we're missing one. So let's check this door. Broken. Use a health drink. And some ammo, rifle shells. But broken elevator. Let's quick save. Broken, broken, and broken. So we only have this door. We can use the employee elevator key, because this room is an elevator. There's the save icon, but I'm not going to use it. We'll pick up a few health drinks. There are memos hanging here, but nothing interesting. So, let's walk in the elevator. Weight allowance, 1 person. What's this? So, we can't use the elevator yet because we're too heavy. Despite James's weak form, he is overweight. So we have to put all of our items on the shelf because the weight allowance is 1 person, not 1 person with multiple firearms and a great knife. So you actually have to put everything here, even your flashlight and radio. Although, I think you can keep the letter and the picture. Yeah, you can. Because a letter and a picture aren't too heavy. And we're gonna go down to the first floor. So let's explore the first floor. Broken. 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 Fire exit. Broken. That's not safe. This door's open though. It's a little storage room. With a Snow White music box. Cool. There are tea bags and cookies here. They are all past their expiration dates. Soup cans are lined up here. I guess they're still okay, but I'm not hungry. So we found the last music box, and we need to find a way upstairs somehow. But we don't want to take the elevator just yet. 1 second, there's a map here. For employees. So this is a more detailed map. And we don't want to go upstairs yet, because if you remember, on the first floor, in the office, not this room, rifle shells. In the first floor in the office is where the videotape is. The videotape that James forgot. There's a small safe. And inside we have the videotape. And what's this? A can opener beneath the videotape. So we got a can opener, which we'll need in a little while. Besides that, nothing in the office. But I did want to show you something in this room, which is, if you remember the Burning Man picture, you'll remember that this hotel, the Lakeview Hotel, had a fire after Mary and James left. And that fire is very, very likely caused by this. Which I can't interact with it now, actually. My mistake. It's in the other world hotel that I can interact with it. My bad, I'll show it to you then, though. So we're gonna head down these stairs, because to go up, we first need to head down. There's mannequins in here. Broken elevator. Broken door. But this room will open. There's a med kit on the floor. And also a key hanging off of here. I got the bar key. So all these doors are broken except for one, which is this one, which takes us into this back kitchen with lots of health drinks. And there's a can here. There's a can with no label on it. Thankfully, we found a can opener. And we'll use it to open up this can of light bulbs. Excellent. So we'll take a light bulb. And that image is actually, apparently, I've heard, I haven't seen the movie, it's a reference to a movie called Alice. Excuse my voice there. It's a reference to I believe it's a foreign film called Alice, where it's a can is filled with light bulbs. A light bulb can. I like how he doesn't act like it's weird that it's a can full of light bulbs. But we'll go through here and enter the Venus Tears bar. It's filled with nonsense. I tried to use the bar key, but it's too dark to find the keyhole. Well, that's where the light bulb will come in, because there's a lamp on the counter. We'll use the light bulb to light up the door so we can use the key. So we went through the Venus Tears bar and ended up on the first floor here. There's a couple of mannequins we're gonna juke out and head back upstairs. So we did get the final music box, so let's throw that in here. Oh, sorry, I can't use that here. My mistake, I'm not angled correctly. Oops, it's too dark to tell, so I have to get my flashlight first, actually. Which means running back up here, dodging these couple of mannequins, which, if you'll note, when I take everything from this shelf, and equip my shotgun, you'll notice that the mannequins disappeared immediately. So we get our flashlight, which means we can use this music box. Ooh, which is right here. Oops. We'll play the music box. Excuse me. So we get a nice little music, and we get the hotel stairway key. And right here, the little things that come out are they come from the opposite side of the music box. As you can see in the cutscene, they roll in, but they're just further references to those Disney princesses. Their locations correspond with where the music boxes go. So we got the stairway key, so let's not waste any time. Let's head upstairs and use it, and go to room 312. So this whole hallway is blocked off. So we finally did it. We reached room 312. Mary's waiting for us in here. Or is she? Because she's not in here. But luckily, we do have the videotape. There's a VHS player right here. So let's use it.
Are you taping again? Come on. I don't know why, but I just love it here. It's so peaceful. You know what I heard? This whole area used to be a sacred place. I think I can see why. It's too bad we have to leave. Please promise you'll take me again, James.
Oh, there you are, James. Did you get the letter? Did you find Mary? If not, let's get going already, okay?
Laura. Mary's gone. She's dead.
Liar, that's a lie!
No, that's not true.
She died because she was sick?
No, I killed her.
You killer! Why'd you do it? I hate you! I want her back! Give her back to me! I knew it! You didn't care about her! I hate you, James! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! She was always waiting for you. Why? Why?
I'm sorry. The Mary you know isn't here. Laura, I'm sorry. That voice.
So, James killed Mary. And, excuse me, sir, for a second, we just got another graphical glitch, so I have to exit very quickly, but then I will explain everything. Okay, so James killed Mary, and, well, pretty terrible. If you couldn't tell in the video very clearly, James took a pillow and smothered Mary, suffocating her. And I just want to discuss a few things. First is that in that video, originally they recorded audio of her screaming, her muffled screams as she's being killed. But anyways, they cut it out because they considered it to be too disturbing, which I think I personally would have preferred if they left it in, because it makes what is happening exactly a bit more clear. But it is pretty disturbing, and back in 2001, for a horror game on the PS2, maybe a bit too adult, because, you know, all the other themes and everything are handled very subtly, so yeah, anyways, that explains a lot of things, like, for example, remember how I was mentioning early on in the Blue Creek apartment buildings, how every environment seems to look water damaged, as I'll show right here. In the Blue Creek, there's even water on the ground. Everything is water damaged because it looks like it's been flooded. It looks like there's been, a flooding, because there's too much water, because too much water is emblematic of drowning, of suffocating, much like how James suffocated Mary, which is why James's psyche is projecting all these things onto the environment. And this is also why in the hospital, which I'll show here, everything is tightly under wraps. Once again, it's because James's psyche has something under wraps, very tightly, which is the secret, which is that he killed Mary. Of course, it also represents, tight cloth wrapping around things, suffocatingly tight. Obviously, it's another symbolic element meant to show Mary's death. But yeah, it's one of the most iconic twists in all of video games. I think one of the most well done as well. I like how Laura, James doesn't even lie. She's 8 years old, but James doesn't lie. He just tells her straight up that he killed her. And obviously he feels remorse. And very interesting fact, which is, if you check the envelope now, how before the paper was blank, now there's just nothing there. There is no paper. So, yeah. Now, of course, we find out that it was just a week ago that Mary wrote a letter to Laura, which means she was still alive just a week ago. Of course, this is confirmed in the novelization and by Ito, that in the very beginning of the game, James, he has actually just suffocated Mary, and then it was so traumatic for him that he picked her up and he put her in the trunk or the backseat of his car and drove immediately to Silent Hill, because it's where she wanted to be, and started this adventure. So that just happened right before we came to Silent Hill. And I'm just going to note really quickly, I'll show you a picture here. This notepad on the table looks just like the save icon, or the save, the place where you save in Silent Hill 1. But yeah, everything kind of, the great knife, of course, is the great burden of guilt, and because Pyramid Head is in some ways emblematic of James, it represents that burden he carries. The mandarins, of course, if you remember them, they hang because they're so weighted down by guilt, like James is. Just everything is built on James killing Mary, and the secret of it. It's really genius. It's basically the core of the game, and all the enemy symbolism and everything like that. I might be forgetting a few things, but I think I got most of it. If anything comes to me, I'm sure I'll talk about it. But, so we hear on the radio, of course, and you can hear this music track is called Black Fairy, and it's just a very dull, numb tone. Here once again, we don't have our flashlight. I press the switch, but nothing happens. But now, unlike before, water damage, even ceiling is leaking. Oh, a save icon. Let's save here. So we have that graphical glitch again, so I'm going to fix that really quickly. Okay, I apologize for that. Those two interruptions. But I did recall something I wanted to talk about, which is that those 3 tablets we picked up in the prison, the seductress, the oppressor, and the gluttonous pig, are obviously representative of Angela and James and Eddie, but much like other things in the game, they actually represent James, all 3, because the reason James killed Mary is obviously seen in the enemies. It's a combination of things. It's that she was kind of bitter and unpleasant during her final days, and sexual frustration on James's side, and of course, kind of the given one is that he couldn't bear to see her suffer. You know, she was suffering so badly with the illness that he wanted to put her out of her misery. So of course it's a combination of factors, but anyways, the tablets each represent James in a different way. The oppressor is pretty obvious, you know, the oppressor because he's oppressing Mary through his suffocation of her, through his killing of her. The gluttonous pig, of course, represents the sexual side of his personality. He's a gluttonous pig, you know, and he feels guilty for the fact that he is sexually frustrated because they can't make love during her illness. And of course, the seductress represents James in that Maria is an entity born of James's psyche, and she is a seductress. The other thing is those patient records in the hospital of Jack, Joshua, and Joseph all represent not just the 3 characters of the game, Angela, Eddie, and James, but they represent 3 different sides of James's personality, which is an aggressive one, a violent one, which, you know, killed Mary, the guilty side, which is guilty over the death of Mary, I believe that's Joseph, and the depressed and suicidal side, which, you know, once again is guilty, but also violent in some situations. So those puzzles have dual meanings, or puzzles, the puzzle and the tablet puzzle and the patient records have dual meanings of both for the 3 characters and representing 3 different sides of James's personality. I also want to mention that the prisoner is representative of Mary, because the prisoner is a helpless, formless being locked in a cell that you can kill, that's completely at James's mercy. So, much like Mary was towards the end of her days. So, without further ado, let's move on. Elevator's out, but we can head downstairs. Because this part's pretty long, I'm just going to go to the right places all by myself without checking every door, because nothing really changes. There's not much to miss. But we're going to go in here and listen to this. As you can see, there's a headset on the table.
Mary's going to die? You must be joking.
I'm very sorry.
But you're a doctor. It's your job to heal people. How can you just let her die?
Please, calm down. As her doctor, I promise I'll do what I can. But there's still no effective treatment for her condition.
How long does she have?
I'm afraid I'm not sure. 3 years at most. Perhaps 6 months. It's impossible to say with certainty.
So that floating bed would be the bed that Mary was on, and that's the diagnosis that she had a terminal illness, and that's where James gets the 3 years number that she died 3 years ago. Just by the by, the nurse Rachel that Laura is talking about is referenced, I'll show it right here, in Silent Hill 4. She's one of the tenants of the building, although you can't actually find her. You can find her uniform and a picture of her, and as well as a painting of her in a different apartment. And she works at St. Jerome's Hospital, which is in Ashfield, which is a nearby town, and it's implied that that's where Mary would have stayed and where James would visit, and that he lived in Ashfield. So, this section is confusing because you try all these doors and each one takes you into another, and then you can go back in and it will take you to a different one. It just teleports you around the hallway, but I know where to go, so we're gonna go this way. As you can see, this is the fire damaged hotel because there was a fire here. Oops. We need to go to this elevator. We got 2 ampoules. And we're gonna have to head down to the basement. And so the basement is flooded with water, and there are lying figures crawling around in it. And we're gonna enter the bar once again. And this time we just have to run through it. Although there are 5 health drinks right here. Wow. So we're gonna grab all the supplies. Lots of ammo, lots of health drinks. And we're gonna run back to the staircase, which is right here.
Mama, I was looking for you. Now you're the only one left. Maybe then I can rest. Mama, why are you running away? You're not my mama. It's you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Angela, no.
Thank you for saving me. But I wish you hadn't. Even Mama said it. I deserved what happened.
No, Angela, that's wrong.
No, don't pity me. I'm not worth it. Or maybe you think you can save me. Will you love me? Take care of me? Heal all my pain? That's what I thought. James, give me back that knife.
No, I won't.
Saving it for yourself?
Me? No, I'd never kill myself. It's hot as hell in here.
You see it too. For me, it's always like this.
Okay, so that cutscene, another iconic cutscene. So this is the room we were supposed to end up in by going in here, but we got in a weird little loop. So Angela, she walked up the staircase and it's confirmed that she did die. Funny fact, when she gets to the top of the staircase, her body starts wigging out and stretching and going nuts. So she says, it's always like this for me, which is sort of the basis for the idea that Silent Hill looks different depending on, who comes here. For Angela it's fire, for James it's, water damage and everything. So yeah. As you can see here, on the wall there was a bolted person restricted under skin. They were, because they're tied down, because they're forced, much like Angela was with bloody genitals, as symbolic of rape further. So Angela finally did kill herself. I like James's inflection on the line, "I'd never kill myself." It's really subtle, but it's well done. So we will push ahead. And here's the water damage, flooded and burned office. I'm gonna try these doors actually. Ooh, I didn't know there were rifle shells here. I think one of them is open. Maybe this one. I was pretty sure one of these was open. That's odd. I wanted to show you that little heater. Well, there's a heater in that room, which I'll show a clip of. I meant to show it to you, but I guess it's written on there instead of actually. Here's the third appearance of the Mandarins. So it's written on that heater, which is stuck right under a curtain, which I'll show a picture of here, which is just a fun little lore fact. It's the, it says, "I'm Johnny, one hot guy," and it's implied that that heater next to the curtain is what started the hotel fire. So here we have 9 red squares telling us we should save. So we'll go ahead and save here. So
Stop! Leave her alone! Leave us both the hell alone! Ah!
I was weak. That's why I needed you. Needed someone to punish me for my sins. But that's all over now. I know the truth. Now it's time to end this.
okay, so now we get to fight 2 pyramid heads. And the reason there are 2 now instead of just 1 is because each pyramid head represents a person that James has killed, because they are meant to, punish James for that. So he's now killed Eddie as well, so there's more than just one, there are two. So Mary and Eddie. Also, you notice in that cutscene of Maria being executed, it resembles exactly the image we found on the tablet puzzle in the gallows of the prison. And yeah. So I always find it funny when Maria screams and then James just goes, ah, just out of nowhere. So, we're gonna fight these two pyramid heads. They're very hard. They take a lot of damage, and they deal a lot of damage. So I'm gonna try a speedrun tactic. We'll see if I can pull it off. Need to equip the great knife. Let them both get close. So they both share a health bar, actually. I'm gonna use them at... We have 9 ampoules? Oh my god. They share a health bar. And the great knife does massive damage. So usually... so this isn't working so well. So I'm gonna get into a corner, and then we'll try it. Usually you want to get them both next to each other, and then every time you attack it staggers them. And I just hit H there to quick heal. Damn. It looks like this isn't working too well. Excuse me, sir. I just wanted to see if I could get that really quick, but it doesn't look like it's gonna work. I got a good few good hits in. So we're gonna use the rifle for the first time, which is the strongest weapon in the game. And it holds only 4 bullets. And really you just want to run corner to corner, shoot him once or twice, and then run. Uh-oh, this one's gonna hit me. That guy almost got me. So I did enough damage, which means they ignore me, walk to the center of the room, and killed themselves. So here's Pyramid Head, and he's holding something. I get a rust-colored egg, and a scarlet egg. So those will serve as keys to these 2 doors. Should reload. Doesn't matter which door you put which egg in. So the reason Pyramid Head kills himself is because he's a duality of James, really, and there's a lot of hinting towards the idea that James is suicidal from those patient records and holding Angela's knife and all sorts of things. So I just want to point out there's a face here, and it's very intentional. I don't know whose face it is or why, but it's pointed out in the art of Silent Hill, so worth noting. Now before I move on right here, I want to refer back to something I actually missed, which is in Neely's bar, which you can... Sorry, I bumped the mic. Which is in Neely's bar, which you can revisit. I'll show an image here of where it says that, you know, you might be going to a different place than Mary James. Hotly debated as to who wrote it, but it's some further foreshadowing of the fact that Mary's like an angel and James killed her, so he's probably going to hell. I forgot to show it earlier, my bad, but I'll show it here for completion's sake. And we're gonna head into this hallway here, and this is the hallway where we hear the verbal abuse, which is represented by the lying figure spitting attack in the mouths of all the different enemies. And it's a further reason why James killed Mary.
Mary?
What do you want, James?
I brought you some flowers.
Flowers? I don't want any damn flowers. Just go home already.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look, I'm disgusting. I don't deserve flowers. Between the disease and the drugs, I look like a monster. Well, what are you looking at? Get the hell out of here! Leave me alone already! I'm no use to anyone. I'll be dead soon anyway. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It'd be easier if they'd just kill me. But I guess the hospital is making a nice profit off me. They want to keep me alive. Are you still here? I told you to go. Are you deaf? Don't come back. James, wait. Please don't go. Stay with me. Don't leave me alone. I didn't mean what I said. Please, James. Tell me I'll be okay. Tell me I'm not going to die. Help me.
So that's pretty sad. And so we're here, raining. We're gonna run up this long staircase, and we're gonna go up sideways. It's a speedrun tactic, because for some reason if you run straight, James stops every few steps, excuse me. Sorry, I had to stop and sneeze. I managed to turn off my mic before I did it though, thankfully. And that staircase is gonna fall away. And this is different depending entirely on your behavior throughout the game. So we'll see what ending we got in a little while.
Mary?
When will you ever stop making that mistake? Mary's dead. You killed her.
Maria? It's you. But I don't need you anymore.
What? You must be joking. But I can be yours. I'll be here for you forever. And I'll never yell at you or make you feel bad. That's what you wanted. I'm different than Mary. How can you throw me away?
I understand now. It's time to end this nightmare.
No, I won't let you. You deserve to die too, James.
So this boss is Mary. You'll notice the, like the flesh lips, the cage of course, symbolizing her bedridden state. Shooting butterflies because Maria has a butterfly theme, like the tattoo on her stomach. The theme of rebirth, which Mary has sort of been reborn as Maria, much like a butterfly will evolve and be rebirthed from, through its cocoon. And worth noting that her head has some pyramid type shapes, evoked by a pyramid head, and also looks like a nun, which I'll show here in her face, which is to symbolize Mary's kind of purity and how she's like an angel and everything. So we're gonna fight her, and I'm gonna try using the great knife on her. Takes 5 great knife hits. She'll fly around. Her butterflies will hurt you slightly, but mostly they just stun you. She usually just does this choking attack with her tentacle. And this actually can be Mary. If you play the game as a sleazebag, it will you know, always are checking on. Yep, you can see there, she looks like a nun. But if you play the game as a sleazebag, always protecting Maria, it kind of assumes that you've taken Maria as the replacement, and ends up being Mary punishing you for doing that. So you have to deal the final blow here. Now we'll be quiet for a while.
Mary?
James.
Forgive me.
I told you that I wanted to die, James. I wanted the pain to end.
That's why I did it, honey. I just couldn't watch you suffer. No. That's not true. You also said you didn't want to die. The truth is, I hated you. I wanted you out of the way. I wanted my life back.
James, if that were true, then why do you look so sad?
Mary?
James, please. Please do something for me. Go on with your life. In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you. Waiting for you to come to see me. But you never do. And so I wait, wrapped in my cocoon of pain and loneliness. I know I've done a terrible thing to you. Something you'll never forgive me for. I wish I could change that. But I can't. I feel so pathetic and ugly laying here, waiting for you. Every day I stare up at the cracks in the ceiling, and all I can think about is how unfair it all is. The doctor came today. He told me I could go home for a short stay. It's not that I'm getting better. It's just that this may be my last chance. I think you know what I mean. Even so, I'm glad to be coming home. I've missed you terribly. But I'm afraid, James. I'm afraid you don't really want me to come home. Whenever you come see me, I can tell how hard it is on you. I don't know if you hate me or pity me. Or maybe I just disgust you. I'm sorry about that. When I first learned that I was going to die, I just didn't want to accept it. I was so angry all the time, and I struck out at everyone I loved most. Especially you, James. That's why I understand if you do hate me. But I want you to know this, James. I'll always love you. Even though our life together had to end like this, I still wouldn't trade it for the world. We had some wonderful years together. Well, this letter has gone on too long, so I'll say goodbye. I told the nurse to give this to you after I'm gone. That means that as you read this, I'm already dead. I can't tell you to remember me, but I can't bear for you to forget me. These last few years since I became ill, I am so sorry for what I did to you, did to us. You've given me so much, and I haven't been able to return a single thing. That's why I want you to live for yourself now. Do what's best for you, James. James, you made me happy.
So you can see there, Laura walking through the graveyard, and James following after her. And usually you always get the letter reading, but it's over a different background. This one is called the leave ending, which means James leaves with Laura, and it's implied that he adopted her, much like Mary wanted to adopt her, and they live happily ever after together. Now there are a few different endings. One is Maria, it's called. Oh, here's the credits. I'll skip those. These two. Save clear data. Okay. So I'll save my game results. 5 hours, 11 minutes. That's not too bad. So let's look at my game results. So, normal, leave ending. Yep. 1 minute and 2 seconds on the boat. Killed 81 enemies. Used 231 items, 166 saves. 5 hours, 11 minutes, 24 seconds. Cool. So, we did pretty well, actually. 7 stars. So, the other endings are the rebirth ending, which I explained before, which is James gets a bunch of items and rows to the church from Silent Hill 3 and attempts to revive Mary. There's an ending called the UFO ending, which is you get abducted by a character from the first game named Harry Mason, and it's all animated and it's a joke ending. There's an ending called the dog ending, which is also a joke ending, which is you open a room and a dog is sitting at a computer and he's controlling all the events of the game, and then it ends in a funny song. There's an ending called the Maria ending, which in that one you are a sleazebag the whole time, always loving Maria, don't care about Mary, and so you take Maria and you leave the town with her, and right before you get in the car, she starts coughing again, and he says, "You've got a cough? We've got to get that looked at," and implying she's sick and that he's going to repeat history and kill her as well. And then the other ending, which is my favorite ending, is the in-water ending, in which James gets in his car with Mary's body, and he drives off into Toluca Lake and drowns, and the letter is read over a background of bubbling water. And I like that ending because I think it fits the game the most thematically, what with the Angela's suicidal thoughts and James's, bizarre and careless actions implying he's suicidal, and the diary on the rooftop of the hotel is somewhat implied to have been written by part of James's psyche, and so on. We didn't get that ending because I was just trying to play the most normal game possible so you guys could see it, and the default ending is usually the leave ending, and I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. I healed myself whenever I would get hurt, which means that James cares about himself more than if you just don't heal yourself. And I also checked Mary's picture in her letter a few times, which it means you really love her and everything, which leads to that ending, and a few other factors. But yeah, so that is Silent Hill 2. I guess I'm not sure what to say, but I really hope you enjoyed. I sure did, and I will probably be playing Born from a Wish pretty soon. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this masterpiece of a video game, and I'll talk to you soon.